So I came across this video of somebody saying, oh, you have to go watch James Walden on YouTube. He knows everything. Okay, no, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's doing the same thing so many others are. They're saying this great deception is coming. Okay, that is the deception. God said the whole world lies with the evil one. And it says all will be deceived, all. But still people are like, you have, put it this way. And I'm gonna prove this because it goes back to Mars. But people will think, oh no, that Antichrist is rising. Okay, again, Jesus said many Antichrists will come. Yeah, there's been many Mars Antichrists. I'll show in a minute. But to think that Revelations, the book of Revelations, plays out all in your lifetime that's where people are being deceived, okay? Because to believe that means that God would be a liar, because he said in the first line, I know I'm repeating myself, I'm trying to keep people away from falling into this trap that this great deception is coming. God has been lifting the veil for many people the last several years, because God lifts the veil. And so we've seen the deception and the beast we've been living under. When John had the vision and wrote the book of Revelations, the first line is, these things will come to soon take place. Soon did not mean thousands. I get that to God, time doesn't exist. 1,000 years is as if one day. But he would also want us to know that soon, for us to understand it, okay? So Revelations started playing out immediately. So the deception that's being played by people, and I don't necessarily think they're intentionally doing it, it's just that you have to erase your mind of everything that ministers, priests, pastors taught you about that book. I'm not saying that not to listen to them or that they're wicked. I'm saying that they all went to seminary school. Jesus said the Holy Spirit is the helper. He said it was the teacher. He said teacher for a reason. That's who he wanted you to go to, especially for that book. Okay, that's who you need to go to. You're further along. So you have to erase what all these people are saying, because they all learned who controls this terrain, as Jesus said, the evil one. Who set up seminary school? The evil one. So that everybody would have this idea and this envision in their head. No, this is what's going to happen, and this is what's going to happen, and this is what. And that evil one is literally deceiving the people that I think in their hearts they think they're doing good by saying this great deception is coming. So let me say this about AI and technology in general. By the time they tell you about the AI, you've been under it for some 30 years. I was talking to a police officer earlier, and that is a Chicago police officer. They've had these drones for a long time. A long time. He was saying a long time ago that the Chicago police drones, they were doing something, and when they flew over the DNC, and it had nothing to do with the DNC, but because they flew over the DNC, there were beams that went up and shot it out of the sky. He said they've been around for a long time, and they are helpful to law enforcement. He said they have little ones that'll go into buildings, before police go in certain cases when there's something very dangerous. So, I don't like it, but they've been there for a long time, because technology is known that by the time they're telling you about it, you've already been living under it. So this idea that there's this no, you've been living under it. Because where they go with that, because they're being deceived, is often they will go to that Trump is then the Antichrist. Yeah, that's exactly what that very evil one wants you to think too. No, it's very simple, that you've already been living under this technology and beast system. to get it under control and even to use it, but in the opposite way on them. You need to get those people in your circle. Does that make sense? Okay, so don't fall down this hole, because I think these people, it's not that they're bad people, it's just that they're being deceived by believing there's this great deception coming. When God's lifting the veil, you've been living under the beast. Look at what the beast has done. The beast deceived everyone. Deceived everyone. Nobody had any idea the healthcare, the education, that all these institutions were so corrupt, that so many people were so corrupt, that everything was so depraved. Nobody did. No, not on the level that it's been. So you've been living under it, and it's been there since the Roman Republic. This is the god Mars. It is. And let me just say this first. The existence of Mars as a wandering object, that's very interesting, a wandering object, because in the Bible, God talks about the wandering star, the wandering, the one that is the fallen angel. As a wandering star in the night sky was recorded by ancient Egyptian astronomers by the second millennial BCE. They were familiar with the apparent retrograde motion. I don't want to go all into this because I don't have enough time. But it says here, by the period of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, Babylonian astronomers were making systematic observations of positions and behaviors of the planet. For Mars, they knew, for example, that the planet made 37 periods or 42 circuits of the zodiac. So none of that is important. This is one of the Mars gods. There's many different Mars gods. Under the influence of Greek culture, Mars was identified with the Greek god Eris, whose myths were reinterpreted in Roman literature and art under the name of Mars. The character and dignity of Mars differs in fundamental ways from that of his Greek counterpart, because the Romans took on much of the Greek stuff. Okay? So there's all these different Mars, like this, and then this is a votive plaque inscribed to Mars Alator, because there's all these different Mars something, from the Barkway Horde, Roman Britain. This is a medieval representation of Mars sitting on a rainbow with a sword and a scepter. He excites men to war. The remains of the Temple of Mars Altor in the Forum of Augustus, Rome. See, that's all these different names. There's so many different Mars. See, all these different Mars, all these different antichrists. God said many, many antichrists. By now, many antichrists have come. See, Celtic God, many, but everywhere. England, Britain, all different Mars gods, okay? There's just page after page. Mars Altar in the Campus Martius, the area of Rome that took its name from him, was supposed to have been dedicated by Numa, the peace-loving, semi-legendary second king of Rome. In the Republican times, it was a focus of electoral activities. Augustus shifted the focus of Mars cult to within Rome's ritual boundary and built a temple to Mars Altor as a key religious feature of his new forum. I follow this up because I'm running out of time, because I have more to show. But do not be deceived by people telling you the great deception is coming. When God's lifting the veil, it's because he wants you to see you've been living under the deception.